Deepti Galaran is with me on the set now for a look at what the papers have been saying today. Hi, Deepti.
Hi, Jeannie.
You're going to start with reactions to that guilty verdict that was handed down to Australian Catholic Cardinal George Pell.
That's right. A Melbourne court found him guilty of sexual abuse, this dating back to 1996, acts perpetrated against two young boys at the time. Pell had entered a not guilty plea. He'll be sentenced on Wednesday. This story obviously getting a lot of attention because Pell is one of Pope Francis's closest top financial advisors. He's now also the most senior Catholic official to be found guilty of sexual abuse, coming just a few days after Pope Francis himself held a summit in Rome aiming to address pedophilia in the church. It's making the front page of the website of the Sydney Morning Herald. It's also sparked this very strong opinion piece from The Guardian here, describing Pell as a dogmatic, brutal man who condemned IVF for single mothers, who was vehemently opposed to homosexuality. In fact, he earned his stripes, so to speak, in the Catholic Church on his war on sex, and it's how he sparked the admiration of Catholic Church officials. He was also a superb political operative with a magical capacity to win money from government, so a very, very valuable person to the church, but he did nothing to curb pedophilia in his own parish.
Now, you've also found an article from The Australian by a priest who supports Pell.
Yeah, that's right. Frank Brennan is a priest who pens his article in The Australian today saying he's devastated by the verdict. He accuses the jury of having disregarded many of the arguments that seem to pick apart the statements put forward by the victims against Pell. Brennan saying if George Pell's appeal fails now, let's hope that he's, quote, not the unwitting victim of a wounded nation in search of a scapegoat.
All right, let's come back to France now, Deepti, where the president, Emmanuel Macron, has been criticized for a campaign reaching out to the homeless.
Yeah, and it really does epitomize you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, in this case, Jeannie. Perhaps in a bid to rehabilitate his image as a president of the rich, Emmanuel Macron accompanied a group of night workers patrolling the streets of Paris to help out the homeless recently. It was not at all announced in the press, but there was the Élysée photographer with him, and that photographer has posted some pictures on social media, which is how people found out about it. You can see the president in jeans and a leather jacket talking to men and women living rough on the streets of Paris. It sparked a lot of mockery, let's say, from Twitter users. One user here saying, mocking the sort of philosophical pose and the imaginative speech thought of Macron, wondering if this person has really not tried to cross the road to find a job in response to those infamous comments he made to an unemployed man last year. There are also those who are a little bit exasperated by all this mockery. This user saying here, I'm not at all in favor of Macron, but we criticize him for being too distant from the people, and when he tries to get closer, we accuse him of leading a publicity stunt. What exactly do the French people want?
Interesting point. All right, next now, a disturbing story about a humpback whale who was found washed up in the Amazon jungle in Brazil.
A 7-meter humpback whale, Jeannie, was found washed up in the Amazon jungle recently. It's believed the young whale may have starved to death and been pushed inland by tides into the jungle, which was about 15 meters from the shores. The actual discovery came about because researchers had noticed a flock of vultures circling around something that turned out to be the whale carcass. BuzzFeed explains that whales in the Atlantic either spend their summers in the north near Greenland or in the south near Antarctica. It's not clear which camp this whale belonged to, but it's definitely not normal for him to have been in the area at this time of the year. They're now conducting studies based on that carcass to find out more.
A different animal story now that's been getting a lot of buzz online. You might have heard of the film Snakes on a Plane, but one 72-year-old actually lived that experience.
Yeah, well, unknowingly, it must be said. Moira Boxall, she was traveling from Queensland to Glasgow recently. The grandmother had spent, a nice 7 weeks with her family in Australia. A few weeks ago, she'd found a snake in her room, and when the snake catchers came, this was in Australia, they couldn't find the snake, so they assumed the snake had disappeared. After an 18-hour journey, including 2 layovers, Boxall opened her suitcase in Scotland to a nasty surprise. A python kitten was coiled up in one of her shoes, very much alive. It had even shed its skin during that 18-hour trip.
Scary. All right, let's wrap up now. You're going to talk to us about a positive ad campaign for once.
For once, exactly. Mothercare, that's a British company for maternity clothes, prams, and accessories. Their latest poster campaign features real women and their babies post-birth, complete with stretch marks, bellies, post-surgery scars, and cellulite. It's part of an effort to challenge the so-called snap-back body myth, often peddled by celebrities bragging about the mere weeks it takes them to shed their to get back to their pre-baby figures. There's actually a wider effort on Instagram to challenge these expectations. New moms posting pictures and celebrating their postpartum bodies for once instead of being shamed by them.
That is a great initiative. Deepti, thank you for that. Deepti going around there with that look at the papers today. You can get a closer look, of course, at the press review and all of the other stories we're covering for you throughout the day on our website. At that address, france24.com.